Hello, dear friends. As I stand before you today, I am reminded of my own journey, the path of a monk filled with trials, triumphs, and profound realizations. The teachings of the Buddha have illuminated my way, guiding me toward a life steeped in respect, compassion, and mindfulness. Today, I want to share with you 18 Buddhist lessons that have transformed my life. These lessons are not merely words to be remembered, they are practices to be lived. Each lesson has the potential to reshape our perceptions, elevate our interactions, and deepen our understanding of ourselves and others. Join me as I share these lessons, stories from my life, and insights I have gathered along the way. I invite you to reflect on how these teachings resonate within you, allowing them to serve as guiding lights on your journey. 1. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is the foundation upon which all other teachings rest. It is the practice of being fully present in each moment, engaging with life as it unfolds around us. I vividly recall my early days in the monastery, seated cross-legged on a worn mat, surrounded by the soft chants of my fellow monks. My mind was a tempest, filled with distractions, worries, and the incessant chatter of thoughts. It was during one particular meditation session that everything changed for me. I was struggling to silence my racing thoughts when my gaze fell upon a small ant diligently carrying a crumb across the mat. I found myself captivated by its determination and focus. In that moment, I learned the profound power of mindfulness. This tiny creature was wholly present, focused solely on its task. I realized that if an ant could embody mindfulness, so could I. After that day, I began to incorporate mindfulness into every aspect of my life. Whether I was washing dishes, planting seeds in the garden, or sharing a meal with my fellow monks, I aimed to be fully present, immersing myself in the experience. To cultivate mindfulness, start with your breath. Each time you notice your thoughts wandering, gently guide your focus back to your breath. This simple practice can ground you in the present, allowing you to experience life with clarity and appreciation. 2. Compassion. Compassion is the heartbeat of Buddhism, the pulse that connects us to one another. It is the understanding of another's suffering and the genuine desire to alleviate that pain. I remember a poignant encounter with a woman named Maya during a community outreach program. She had faced unimaginable hardships, struggling to provide for her children. As I listened to her story, my heart ached for her. In that moment, I recognized that her pain was a reflection of our shared humanity. We all carry burdens, and we all yearn for understanding and kindness. This realization ignited a deep sense of compassion within me, prompting me to act. After our conversation, I took the initiative to help Maya find resources for her family. I joined her in applying for assistance and brought her meals during tough times. Each act of kindness not only alleviated her suffering, but also nourished my spirit. From that day forward, I made it a priority to cultivate compassion in all my interactions. Whether it was offering a warm smile to a stranger or volunteering my time to those in need, I sought to embody the essence of compassion. To practice compassion, actively listen to those around you. Instead of rushing to offer solutions, allow yourself to be present with their feelings. When you approach others with an open heart, you create a ripple effect of kindness that transforms lives. 3. Impermanence. The teaching of impermanence is a cornerstone of Buddhist philosophy. It reminds us that everything in life is transient, and this realization can be both liberating and daunting. I remember standing by a tranquil lake, watching the sun set on the horizon. The sky transformed from vibrant orange to a deep indigo, and I felt a profound sense of peace. Yet I also knew that this beautiful moment was fleeting, just like all moments. This understanding of impermanence helped me embrace the transient nature of life, teaching me to cherish each experience. I began to see the beauty in change. Just as the seasons shift, so too do our circumstances and emotions. One day, as I observed the leaves fall from a tree, I reflected on the cycles of life. Each leaf, vibrant in its time, eventually returns to the earth, nourishing new growth. This cycle reminded me to let go of attachments and embrace change as a natural part of existence. To embrace impermanence, practice gratitude for each moment you experience. Recognize that every encounter and feeling is temporary. Allow yourself to be fully present, appreciating the beauty of each moment without clinging to it. 4. Non-attachment. Non-attachment is a profound lesson that encourages us to let go of our desires and expectations. In my early years as a monk, I often found myself clinging to the idea of success in meditation, teaching, and spiritual growth. I felt frustrated when my progress seemed slow, constantly comparing myself to others. One day, while reflecting on my journey, I encountered a wise elder monk. He shared a story of a river that flows freely, adapting to obstacles in its path. Just as the river flows, so must you, he advised. This metaphor resonated deeply within me, leading me to understand that attachment can lead to suffering. When I let go of my rigid expectations, I opened myself to new experiences and insights. I began to embrace each moment as it came, free from the burden of attachment. The world became a canvas, and I was merely a brush, creating and experiencing without clinging to the outcome. To cultivate non-attachment, remind yourself that desires are transient. Focus on the journey rather than the destination, allowing life to unfold naturally. Embrace spontaneity and let go of the need for control. 5. Right speech. Right speech is about using our words wisely and kindly. I recall a time when I was caught up in gossip with fellow monks. We were sharing stories, but as I reflected on our conversation, I felt a heaviness in my heart. I realized that our words had the power to uplift or harm, and I wanted to choose the former. One evening, I attended a teaching on the significance of right speech. The teacher emphasized that our words can either heal or hurt. This struck a chord with me, and I resolved to practice right speech in my daily life. I began to be more mindful of the language I used, focusing on speaking truthfully and kindly. In moments of disagreement, I made an effort to express my thoughts respectfully. I sought to engage in conversations that uplifted and inspired, avoiding negativity and gossip. To practice right speech, pause before speaking. Ask yourself if your words are truthful, necessary, and kind. When you speak with intention, you create a space for open communication and mutual respect. 6. Patience. Patience is a virtue that requires practice and intention. I remember a time when I was frustrated during a meditation retreat. The noise from outside was distracting, and my mind was restless. In that moment, I realized I was resisting the experience instead of accepting it. I took a deep breath and allowed myself to embrace the chaos. With each passing moment, I reminded myself that growth takes time. I recalled the image of a seed planted in the ground, which takes time to germinate and bloom. During a challenging project with my fellow monks, we faced delays and obstacles. Instead of succumbing to frustration, we approached the situation with patience and compassion for one another. This shift in perspective allowed our creativity to flourish, leading to a beautiful outcome. To cultivate patience, practice mindfulness in moments of waiting. Whether you're stuck in traffic or in line at the store, use these moments to breathe and center yourself. Allow patience to be your guiding principle in times of difficulty. 7. Gratitude. Gratitude is a transformative practice that shifts our focus from scarcity to abundance. I recall a time when I felt overwhelmed by the challenges in my life. An elder monk encouraged me to keep a gratitude journal, prompting me to write down 3 things I was grateful for each day. Initially, it felt forced, but as days turned into weeks, I began to notice the beauty in everyday moments. I found gratitude in the warmth of the sun, the laughter of friends, and the taste of a simple meal. Each entry in my journal became a testament to the abundance surrounding me. One day, as I walked through the monastery garden, I paused to appreciate the vibrant colors and fragrances surrounding me. In that moment, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for life itself, realizing that gratitude opens the door to joy. To cultivate gratitude, make it a daily practice. Each evening, reflect on your day and express gratitude for the small things. Over time, you will find that gratitude becomes a lens through which you view the world, shifting your perspective to one of abundance. 8. Self-reflection. Self-reflection is a vital aspect of personal growth. I remember a time when I was caught in a cycle of blame, pointing fingers at others for my dissatisfaction. It was through self-reflection that I learned to take responsibility for my actions. I often set aside time each day to reflect on my thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. One evening, I sat quietly, examining my reactions to a recent conflict. I realized that my motivations were rooted in fear and insecurity. This awareness allowed me to realign my intentions with my values. Through self-reflection, I began to understand my strengths and weaknesses. One day, I recognized that my desire for validation often led me to seek approval from others. This insight empowered me to focus on self-acceptance instead. To practice self-reflection, set aside quiet time for introspection. Ask yourself guiding questions, such as, what emotions am I feeling? Why did I react that way? This practice fosters self-awareness, allowing you to grow and evolve. 9. Humility. Humility is the recognition that we are part of something greater than ourselves. I remember a time when I received praise for a teaching I delivered. Instead of basking in the accolades, I felt a sense of discomfort. I knew that my insights were not solely my own. They were built upon the teachings of those who came before me. An elder monk once shared with me that true humility comes from recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings. We are all students and teachers in this vast web of existence. This understanding shifted my perspective, reminding me that my contributions are but a small part of a greater whole. I began to practice humility by acknowledging the efforts of others and celebrating their achievements. In moments of success, I would pause to reflect on the support and guidance I received along the way. To cultivate humility, practice gratitude for those who have influenced your life. Acknowledge the contributions of others and strive to lift them up. When you embrace humility, you create space for connection and collaboration. 10. Right livelihood. Right livelihood is about choosing a path that aligns with our values and contributes positively to the world. I remember a time when I felt lost in my purpose, working in a role that left me unfulfilled. Through self-reflection, I realized that my work did not resonate with my values. I began exploring opportunities that aligned with my passion for teaching and serving others. One day, I had the chance to mentor a group of young monks, and it filled my heart with joy. As I guided them, I recognized that right livelihood is not just about earning a living, but about nurturing the spirit. It's about aligning our actions with our values and contributing to the greater good. To practice right livelihood, reflect on your work and its impact on your life and others. Seek opportunities that resonate with your values and allow you to grow. When you engage in work that aligns with your purpose, you cultivate respect for yourself and your contributions. 11. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is a powerful act that frees us from the burdens of resentment. I remember carrying the weight of anger toward someone who had wronged me. It consumed my thoughts, leaving little room for joy. One day during a meditation session, I was guided to visualize the person I held anger against. As I sat in silence, I felt the pain of my resentment, but I also felt compassion for their struggles. In that moment, I made the choice to forgive, not for them, but for my own peace. Over time, I discovered that forgiveness is not about condoning actions, but releasing the grip of negativity on our hearts. As I practiced forgiveness, I felt a profound lightness, as if a heavy weight had been lifted. To cultivate forgiveness, begin by acknowledging your feelings and allowing yourself to grieve. Then make the conscious choice to release resentment. You may find it helpful to write a letter expressing your feelings, even if you don't send it. When you embrace forgiveness, you create space for healing and renewal. 12. Contentment. Contentment is the art of finding joy in what we have, rather than longing for what we lack. I remember a time when I was caught in the cycle of comparison, feeling inadequate when I looked at the achievements of others. One day, I sat in the garden, surrounded by the beauty of nature. I felt the warmth of the sun on my face and the gentle breeze rustling the leaves. In that moment, I realized that true happiness lies within, not in external circumstances. I began to practice contentment by acknowledging the blessings in my life. Each day, I would take a moment to appreciate the simple joys: a cup of tea, a warm smile, a peaceful moment of silence. To cultivate contentment, practice gratitude and focus on what you have, rather than what you lack. Embrace the beauty in the present moment, and let go of the need for more. When you embody contentment, you radiate a sense of peace that others respect and admire. 13. Generosity. Generosity is a practice that nourishes both the giver and the receiver. I recall a time when I faced financial difficulties. Instead of hoarding what little I had, I chose to share a portion with a friend in need. As I watched her face light up with gratitude, I felt a warmth in my heart that surpassed any material possession. This act of generosity not only lifted her spirits, but also deepened my sense of connection to the world around me. One day, during a community service event, I witnessed the power of collective generosity. Together, we transformed a barren space into a vibrant garden. The smiles on the faces of those involved were a testament to the joy that generosity can bring. To cultivate generosity, look for opportunities to give each day, whether through your time, resources, or kindness. When you share freely, you create a culture of respect and gratitude that uplifts everyone. 14. Equanimity. Equanimity is the ability to remain balanced amid life's ups and downs. I remember facing challenges during my training as a monk. Days when meditation felt impossible and doubts crept in. One day, while reflecting on a difficult experience, I recalled the story of the lotus flower. It grows through muddy waters, emerging beautifully on the surface. This image became a reminder that challenges can lead to growth and beauty. I began to practice equanimity by accepting the highs and lows of life as part of the journey. When faced with obstacles, I would take a deep breath and remind myself that each moment is an opportunity for growth. To cultivate equanimity, practice mindfulness in difficult situations. Acknowledge your feelings without judgment and find your center. When you embody equanimity, you radiate a calmness that inspires respect in others. 15. Inner peace. Inner peace is the ultimate goal of our practice. I have often found myself searching for peace outside of myself, through achievements, possessions, or the approval of others. However, I learned that true peace lies within. During a meditation retreat, I experienced a profound stillness that resonated deep within my soul. It was as if all the noise of the world faded away, leaving only the essence of who I am. This experience taught me that inner peace is cultivated through self-acceptance and love. I began to create sacred moments for myself, time spent in quiet reflection, walks in nature, or simply savoring a warm cup of tea. These moments became a sanctuary for my spirit. To cultivate inner peace, prioritize self-care and create a space for stillness in your life. Engage in practices that nurture your soul, and you will radiate a sense of calm that draws others in. 16. Mindful consumption. Mindful consumption is about being aware of what we take in, be it food, media, or relationships. I recall a time when I mindlessly consumed unhealthy foods and negative media, feeling drained and unfulfilled. Through self-reflection, I began to understand the importance of mindful consumption. I started paying attention to what I ate, choosing nourishing meals that fueled my body and spirit. One day, as I savored a bowl of simple rice, I felt grateful for the energy it provided and the hands that cultivated it. In terms of media, I became discerning about the content I consumed. Instead of filling my mind with negativity, I chose uplifting and inspiring material that nurtured my spirit. To practice mindful consumption, be aware of your choices. Select nourishing foods, uplifting media, and relationships that support your growth. When you consume mindfully, you cultivate respect for yourself and your environment. 17. Kindness. Kindness is a simple yet profound practice that can transform our lives and the lives of those around us. I recall a time when I felt down and isolated. One day, a fellow monk offered me a small gift, a hand-knit scarf. His simple act of kindness reminded me of the power of generosity. I remember another instance when I volunteered at a local community center. As I served meals, I saw the joy in the faces of those we helped. It struck me that kindness creates a ripple effect. One act of kindness can inspire countless others, uplifting us all. To cultivate kindness, look for opportunities to be kind each day. Whether through a smile, a helping hand, or a compliment, your acts of kindness will resonate deeply within your heart and those around you. 18. Self-compassion. Finally, we arrive at self-compassion, a crucial lesson that has transformed my life. I often found myself caught in a cycle of self-criticism, believing I had to be perfect. However, through the practice of self-compassion, I learned to embrace my flaws and vulnerabilities. I remember a time when I struggled during a meditation retreat, feeling frustrated and inadequate. Instead of berating myself, I chose to acknowledge my feelings and remind myself that everyone faces challenges. In that moment, I began to cultivate self-compassion, affirming that it's okay to be imperfect. During moments of difficulty, I would often place my hand over my heart, offering myself love and understanding. This practice has allowed me to embrace my humanity fully, to cultivate self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness. Acknowledge your struggles as part of the human experience and offer yourself the same love you would extend to a dear friend. When you embody self-compassion, you foster inner peace and earn respect from others who see your authenticity. As I conclude this sharing, I invite you to reflect on these 18 lessons. Each lesson is a thread in the tapestry of our lives, weaving together a